What's up, guys? My name is Miles.
And my name is Fez.
And this is The Commodity. And today we're reacting to this island as an example to the world should you visit Boracay Island, or Boracay, Philippines now, honest review. Now, from what I've learned about Boracay is it's beautiful, but it hasn't always been beautiful.
Okay.
And even the thumbnail on this specific video, which I'm going to use but put our faces on it, says cesspool to paradise. So apparently it was like super polluted and just disgusting.
Okay. I think London had the same issue with their, I think it's the Johnston River or whatever they call the river. It was like, don't get in it type thing. And now it's like we have the cleanest rivers in the entire world.
So let's hop in and check this Boracay, Philippines out.
Boracay. Maybe it's like Boracay?
Boracay.
What is the cost of paradise? The white sand beaches of Boracay Island used to welcome over 2 million tourists.
So is that how you pronounce it?
Year.
Boracay?
But back in 2018, it all became too much.
Consistently ranked one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, the island of Boracay here in the Philippines is finally reopening.
World-famous Boracay Island in the Philippines was drowning in rubbish.
One of the country's
wow.
great natural treasures, Boracay Beach, was shut down.
Now, does that have to do with a lot of local pollution, or does it have to do with like storms
bringing in
that
trash.
would bring in trash, or even take down houses and then take it back out to the ocean and kind of?
I'm just guessing it was a dumping site. That's my guess. I don't know if it's true. I'm just guessing.
It says at the bottom of this, world famous island closed after tourist trash destination.
I could see that.
Due to massive sewage pollution.
After years of neglect
they're
and
dumping
wild
there
beach
too.
parties, the government took an unprecedented step.
I will close Boracay. Boracay is a cesspool. It is destroying the environment of the Republic of the Philippines and creating a disaster coming.
The entire island was closed down for 6 months of rehabilitation and cleanup.
That's insane.
But
That is insane, because like in the United States, I don't think they do that.
I don't know.
Shut down an entire city
Yeah, no.
and
they
vacate to clean up. No, because you got places
I would
like
just
you got places, Detroit, for instance. I mean, Detroit is rough, and they just turn and look the other way.
Well, yeah. Where they the way that they do it is they just look for investors to buy up areas to redo it themselves, and not actually. The city doesn't go in and actually try to do anything. So yeah, I agree with you. Like if they had to rely on investors and stuff like that, that would take forever to get done. Just like what's happening in Detroit.
Yeah.
So.
is it like now? Boracay is a tiny island off the northern coast of Panay. And a few months after its grand reopening, we went to see what the island had become.
Yeah, I mean, they shut down the entire island.
That's crazy.
The neighbouring port of Cataclan is the main gateway to Boracay, and on the journey over, we started to see the signs of its new approach to tourism. It's estimated that around $20 million.
I hereby solemnly swear that as a guest on Boracay Island, I will, to the best of my ability, help ensure its preservation and sustainable development and follow and observe environmental laws and regulations. I like that.
I hope they
Was spent on
They
the
actually
cleanup
do.
alone.
Yeah,
And
and
really,
I hope that if
there
they
was
catch
no way of
people,
knowing if the
literally they
tourists
get
would
fined,
return
like,
right
big
away.
time.
Yeah. McDonald's welcomes you back to work.
These days, only 19,000
$6
tourists
to get
are
out
allowed onto the island each
Ah,
day.
so they
And we
regulate it.
were just 2 of them, heading over there for the very first time. There's a trend amongst YouTubers in the Philippines where they react to the new Boracay, even though most of them never saw what it was like before now. So instead of sort of trying to do a direct comparison to what it's like before, I thought I'd just walk along the beach and share with you some of my first impressions about what it's like to be here and pay attention to what it looks like they may have changed. So almost as soon as we arrived, we headed straight to the coast to get our first look at that famous beach, where it looks like a lot has changed.
Sorry, I'm
So
zoned
here we
out.
are on White Beach for the first time, and the sand definitely lives up to its name.
That is very,
It's very
beautiful.
fine, very bright, and it just stretches on
You
for.
know what would be really cool, and I know it kind of sucks that it would be cool, is seeing a time lapse from the change.
That would be.
As bad as it was, at least that picture, to showing what it is today. Like, I'm curious on how they cleaned out the sand. I don't know if they just brought in new sand and just dug up all the old stuff.
Probably sifters.
Yeah, a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy. And it's, I mean, it's stunningly beautiful right now. So
Forever in the distance. The beach here is over 4 kilometers long, so long that it's split into 3 sections known as stations. Obviously the weather isn't great today. It's very, very cloudy, very overcast, but you can still see just how blue the water is as well.
That's good that they regulate it now.
There's a long promenade
Yeah,
that
I
goes
agree.
all the way along the beach, all through
because
the 3
obviously we
stations
couldn't handle
here.
it before.
And I get that it's now, or I guess was too, mainly a tourist destination. But are there locals to the island that?
Well, they run it.
Right.
So I'm guessing it's still very touristy heavy. But I bet you there's like, beyond that, I bet you there's nothing to it. I
Yeah.
bet you it's all.
And it's all
tourist
lined with shops, restaurants, cafes. It's a real holiday destination here, as expected.
I hope your Wi-Fi dies.
Boracay's reopening came with a lot of new laws and rules for tourists. There is no smoking or drinking allowed on the beach, no fire dancing, no pets, no loud music, and no furniture allowed on the sand.
Wow.
You also won't find any single-use plastics in the coffee shops or restaurants.
Purely paper.
This has been a real culture shift on the island that seems to have been embraced by both tourists and locals. But one of the major differences since they introduced all of these new rules is that none of the restaurants or bars are allowed to encroach onto the beach itself. Whereas before you're allowed to drink your cocktails while watching the sunset on the sand, that's no longer allowed. And to be honest, I've got to say, the beach seems really, really clean, so obviously something's working. Station 3 was pretty chilled out when we were there.
It's nice to know that people are
But the
actually.
station next
following
door was a
the rules.
completely different
Yeah.
story. You definitely know when you get into Station 2, it gets visibly
They might send you off the island. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, you broke the rule.
Well, I think he's about to get into. He said it's visibly different in Station 2.
Yeah.
Maybe Station 2 is a little messier.
a
think
lot busier.
Population. It's busier.
Yeah.
The good news for the tourism authorities is that the 6-month closure doesn't seem to have put tourists off coming here. In fact, I think it's generated even more interest, with people just like us wanting to see the island's new look. And that famous nightlife can still be found when the sun goes down.
That rhymes.
You won't find any more crazy beach parties on the sand, but the clubs and bars were still very crowded with people. And of course, one of the island's most incredible sights is still as amazing as ever. One of the most
I
iconic
say this
sights in
every video.
Boracay is watching the sunset
Huh?
over the sea.
I think I say this every video, but I can't
I'm
wait to
very
go
excited
to
to
the
see it for
beach.
the first time.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
just
gonna
about an hour away. We're in position. And it's looking awesome already. I love these blue sailboats. Such an iconic thing from Boracay.
It's cool how it's covering in the sun.
This might be the busiest beach I've ever seen. But the sunset is legit. And luckily for us, the next day, the clouds disappeared.
So when you travel to the island, they say they only allow 19,000 guests per day.
Right.
Can you obviously you can stay overnight though?
Yeah, I mean that's what I would think, but I mean they don't show
Because
it.
if they have a nightlife where you're drinking and partying,
Yeah, that's
I would
true.
imagine you have to stay. So let us know. Do you have to travel off the island at night and then come back?
That's crazy.
I wouldn't
not.
think so. You know, I believe you'd be able to stay there.
Right.
But it's regulated on how many people can go. So if you can stay, how long can you stay?
Right, forever. I didn't even think about that.
When the sun is out, this beach is an absolute dream. It was the perfect day to take our first swim in the sea. And this crystal clear water was out of this world.
I bet you it feels so good.
It's hard to believe that this water was a darker shade of green only a few months before.
It's crazy how quick things can change too once you start taking care of these things.
Yeah.
We decided to walk as much of the beach as we could. From Station 3, we walked through the crowds of Station 2 before ending up in Station 1. It's definitely a lot quieter down here in Station 1. And this is
you
by
have to
far
walk
the most
so
beautiful
far.
stretch of the beach.
That's a workout.
But it's also
too,
going to
beach
cost you to
walking.
stay here. This is where the big luxury resorts are.
Especially if you have wimpy feet like me and you have to have sandals or flip-flops of some sort, that makes it even harder.
I completely get why people come here on holiday. It is an absolutely beautiful beach. There's every single comfort you could possibly want along the front.
That's cool.
I'm going to attempt something now that I never ever do, and that's actually sunbathe. So let's.
He's in the shadow.
Okay. Okay. No. Boring.
Yep, I'm with you.
I love laying out in the sun
I don't.
and just falling asleep.
I want to do stuff.
Overall, Boracay definitely wouldn't be my first choice of destination to come on holiday. It's all a little bit too much for me, but I can definitely see why people come here. Not that I think what happened here was a good thing, it's just, I think it's got an opportunity to be a real example to other places around the world and in the Philippines that sustainable tourism is the way forward and it can still be a really popular place to come.
Facts.
Because what they're reclaiming with everything they're doing here is they're reclaiming the whole reason why people came to Boracay in the first place, because of this beautiful, amazing beach with white sand and blue water. And if that goes away, then what is Boracay for? More recently, we've seen Thailand close down Maya Bay, and I have no doubt that more places will follow. The Philippines really gambled with this.
That's crazy how, I mean, and it's not just the Philippines, it's not just Thailand. I mean, a lot of these different countries shut down areas.
They're taking the initiative.
Right, and they want to keep it, you know, natural. And we need to follow in those footsteps. Like, I know we've got a lot of activist groups that clean the beaches
And some of our beaches are very, very regulated.
right.
So, I mean, you got your destination beaches. The worst beach I've been to is Galveston.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never, again, it's still regulated.
Right.
Like they clean it and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes I wish they would clean it a little bit better. But then again, the Gulf of Mexico isn't like the nicest
Well, it's just
place to
murky
go.
water.
Yeah.
It's not blue water like that unless you get like further out.
Right.
I don't know. It's true though. This island is an example to the world. It should be. You know, if you've got places that are suffering due to pollution or poverty and things like that, step in and fix it. You know, don't just let it decay and go away, because I mean, then it just becomes a waste. You know.
Yeah, I'm with him. That's a little bit busier than I want to be around.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the Philippines have more beaches than that are going to be a little off the beaten path, where I don't have to be around 100,000 people.
Right.
19,000 to be specific.
Yeah. I'd rather go to a secluded.
Yeah, or maybe not necessarily secluded, just a little bit.
I'd
less
like secluded.
People. Well, yeah, but what are the opportunities of that? I mean,
with the amount of beaches, I'd imagine there's one.
Who knows? So, keep on giving us some good suggestions for videos like this one. This one was really good.
Yeah.
And with that being said,
My name is Miles.
and my name is Fez.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.
Out.